Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Ireland's IMRO Local Station of the Year, WLR News.
Good afternoon, I'm Liz Reddy. Today's top stories. Detectives have been given a further 24 hours to question Lisa Smith. The Dunmore wing at University Hospital Waterford is due to open on a phased basis this month, and almost 240 people have been arrested for drink driving in Waterford so far this year. In sport, Waterford's RSC is hoping to be named FAI Pitch of the Year for the third time. Members of the Garda Special Detective Unit are continuing to question Lisa Smith after her period of detention was extended this morning. The former Irish soldier is being asked about her movements and activities abroad as part of an investigation into suspected terror-related crimes. Our courts correspondent Frank Rainey reports.
Lisa Smith was arrested at Dublin Airport on Sunday after being escorted home to Ireland on board a flight from Istanbul. The 38-year-old mother from Dundalk is a former member of the Irish Defence Forces who once worked on the government jet. In an interview with the Irish Independent in 2011, she said her once party girl life was completely turned around by converting to Islam. She travelled to Syria 3 years ago to join the so-called Islamic State group, but maintains she wasn't involved in fighting. Yesterday, her solicitor said no evidence linking her to a terrorist offence had been put to her during her Garda interrogation. Her period of detention was extended yesterday, and a judge at Dublin District Court approved a further extension of 24 hours this morning. Her period of detention can't be extended again, so a decision on whether to charge her or let her go will have to be made before time runs out. Frank Rainey at Dublin District Court.
A Sinn Féin TD says the new wing at University Hospital Waterford will be opened on a phased basis this month. The 5-storey Dunmore wing was handed over to the HSE in April. The South East Palliative Care Centre occupies the bottom 2 floors with recruitment for staff currently underway. Deputy David Culnan says local Oireachtas members got positive news about some of the other floors.
The top 3 floors are 72 single isolation acute beds. Not all of those beds will be new beds, but there has been some funding made available to the hospital to recruit additional staff. That will mean some of those beds will be additional. But in the short term, what is being done now is that one of the wards, Medical 4, will be transferred in full over to the Dunmore wing. And that will mean then that the top floor of the new wing in the hospital will be fully operational and will be open to patients. And I think that's a good move.
The moving of Medical 4 will get underway next week and it's hoped to be completed by January. Deputy Culnan says they will then look at moving other wards over.
I'm pleased about the fact that there is movement in this area, because I think what we were looking at for some time was a building that's equipped, that's ready to be opened, and it wasn't going to be open for some period of time. Funding has now been made available for the CHO service to provide the palliative care beds and open that service, which is hugely important. And now we're seeing some movement in terms of the acute beds. What we want to see is that unit maximised with potential, all 72 beds open, being used by patients, are high quality single isolation beds. They'll make a massive difference to patient care.
The 100-bed Waterford Residential Care Centre in Johns Hill in the city is nearing completion. It had been due to open at the end of this year. However, that's been pushed back. WLR's Sinead Ahern has the details.
The 100-bed unit will replace St Patrick's Hospital and St Aidan's ward in St Otterans. The €25 million project comprises of 80 single rooms arranged into 3 wards and an additional 20 rooms for mental health services. There will also be a patient roof terrace, a production kitchen and related community spaces. The centre is due to be fitted out early next year and will be in operation soon after. The St Patrick's Hospital building will be retained for rehab services for non-residential healthcare, administrative, training and storage uses.
A review by a team of UK experts of more than 1,000 women's cervical check slides will be published this afternoon. The Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists report is being considered by Cabinet Ministers before being released. Shane Beattie reports.
This review, separate to Dr Gabriel Scally's scoping inquiry, examined over 1,000 smear tests after last year's scandal. British experts examined if there were failures identifying abnormal cells and if cancer could have been diagnosed earlier. earlier. Health Minister Simon Harris is briefing his Cabinet colleagues before it's published. The women involved have been told of their own smear test findings, but there's already controversy. It appears some slides were mislabelled, giving women the same result as their original smear test, then a different result, or women were told their original slide wasn't available when it was. Before Cabinet clears it, questions are being raised about the accuracy of the report.
The Housing Minister is expected to survive a vote of no confidence in the Dáil tonight, but the numbers will be tight. The Social Democrats have denied the move was an election stunt ahead of their motion this evening. Our political correspondent, Sean Defoe, reports.
A motion of no confidence tonight could bring down the government and force an election in the week of Christmas, but Minister Owen Murphy thinks he has the votes to survive.
I think a lot of people recognise this for what it is, which is a stunt from the Social Democrats. It's not to dismiss the seriousness of housing and homelessness. That's a very important issue, but there has to be a question around the motivation here coming from this party.
Fianna Fáil is abstaining, and while Micheál Martin says he wants an election, he says now isn't the time.
I don't think anyone was serious about there being a general election in and around Christmas Day, and certainly the public wouldn't have been thankful for that.
His two new TDs arrived for their first day in the Dáil and will abstain in their very first vote. Not so the other two fresh faces around Leinster House. New Green TD Joe O'Brien will try to get rid of the Housing Minister with his first vote.
Let's be straight about it. No confidence means no confidence. Do I have confidence in them? Not at all. He's had his time.
As will Sinn Féin's Mark Ward.
My own parents are here. I had to move back in with my own parents at one stage because I couldn't afford the rents that were out there.
It'll be the votes of a few key independents like Michael Lowry, Dennis Naughton, Noel Grealish and Matthew McGrath that will decide the vote, but the government thinks it has the numbers. Sean Defoe, Leinster House.
Just under 240 people have been arrested for drink driving in Waterford City and County this year. One motorist was 10 times over the limit for cocaine, which will be dealt with before the courts soon. Inspector Niall Daly of Waterford Guard Station says the message on drink and drug driving has still not gotten through.
We're continuing to detect people with excess alcohol or controlled drugs in their system. We have a new oral fluid detection system where people can be stopped at the roadside and their system checked to see if they have consumed drugs like heroin, cocaine and cannabis. This leads to arrest of a person. They're brought back to a Garda station where a doctor is called and a blood sample is taken which will verify the roadside test.
He says the laws are there to protect motorists, cyclists and pedestrians.
Lives are at risk here. And if your driving is impaired, you're more liable to hit a pedestrian, not to see the cyclist, or to be involved in a collision with an oncoming car. That can result in serious harm to someone or even a fatality.
Just 57% of students from schools in disadvantaged areas are going on to college. An Irish Times report shows nearly all of those that go to fee-paying schools. However, progress to third level, those students are also much more likely to study courses with higher points. Education columnist Brian Mooney explains what needs to happen to level the playing field.
If we really want to change the dynamic and bring these schools up to the similar standards as schools, say for instance, Gael School, Muckross, etc., non-fee-paying schools where you still get the same performance as fee-paying. It's literally really heavy investment for families, single-parent families, families where effectively, people living in hubs, people who are homeless. That's where the damage is being done.
WLR Sport.
Waterford FC is one of 3 clubs which have had their pitches shortlisted for the 2019 SSE Airtricity League Pitch of the Year. The club is up against Drogheda United and Shamrock Rovers. Darren Seeley is the manager of the RSC.
Great to have a little bit of recognition like that, show that's all the hard work from myself and the lads here. The hard work, and I suppose you can see that some people notice it and it's appreciated. We've won it twice. It'd be great to win it a third time. I don't think anyone has ever won it 3 times, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to do it without the lads working here. Like, there's a great team with Greg Lonergan, Keith Fitzgerald, John Lacey and John Grant, and all the lads that are here. They all take the same amount of pride in it as what I would, so it makes my job a lot easier.
Jose Mourinho says he was happy during his time in charge of Manchester United. The Portuguese manager takes his Spurs side to his old club in the Premier League tomorrow night, and Mourinho says he has positive memories of his stint at Old Trafford.
Going back to Old Trafford is to go back to a place where I was happy. I can say that I was happy. I have a great relation with the Manchester United supporters. Tomorrow I go back as the coach of the team that is going to try to beat Manchester United.
Paul Pogba will miss the game for United, having not fully recovered from his ankle injury. There's Premier League action this evening with 2 games in all. Champions Manchester City will hope to draw level with second-placed Leicester City with a win at Burnley. Kick-off at Turf Moor is at 8:15pm. Crystal Palace welcome Bournemouth to Selhurst Park in the other tie from 7:30. St Mary's are gearing up for one of the biggest days in their club's history on Sunday afternoon. The Tournina side face Russell Rovers from Cork in the Munster Junior Club Hurling Championship final. Marys are trained by Dan Shanahan. He says they've put in an unbelievable effort throughout the year.
I say I would have met the lads there before Christmas, maybe December, early January with Matt McConnell. So the boys would have done stuff that they'd never done before. With Matt McConnell and strength and conditioning kind of stuff, pushing the sleighs, long runs and upper body stuff and leg work there that for this time of the year, Tomas, is beneficial. Do you know, that's why they do that stuff in the winter time, to get the rewards when the muck and the conditions.
Throw in at the Mallow GA complex is at 1 o'clock, and Tomas McCarthy will keep us updated here on WLR. That's the latest. Our next bulletin is at